What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? We have some new additional information coming in. It pertains to Dragon Ball Super episode 116 in relations to the upcoming battle between Ultra Instinct Goku and Super Saiyan Kefla, courtesy of Herms98 on Twitter, alongside additional information for Jiren, which I believe may invoke him to reawaken from his meditation, and which may potentially set itself up for another battle between Jiren and Goku. And again, if you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button alongside enabling all notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto this channel in connection to Dragon Ball Super news, information, updates, discussions, and spoilers. Hashtag Dragon Ball Squad. As courtesy from Herms98 on Twitter, the additional information for Dragon Ball episode 116 goes as follows. Dragon Ball Super episode 116, The Comeback Omen, Ultra Instinct's Great Explosion, and the description goes as follows. Goku versus Kefla, Ultra Instinct finally goes into operation, despite turning into Super Saiyan Blue, which based on the overall preview we already know, and Goku is pushed back by Kefla. The moment he is cornered, Ultra Instinct finally kicks in. Jiren this week paying close attention to the powered up Goku. Goku succeeds in turning the tables via Ultra Instinct, which means Goku does end up beating Kefla in some way, shape, or form. The mightiest warrior Jiren, who defeated Goku in their previous fight, begins to show interest in the powered up Goku's battle. Now this, I think, is a little too early, too soon to see Goku versus Jiren, which indicates to me that Jiren is very aware as to what is happening between Kefla and Goku, even though Jiren may not recognize the feats that Kefla has, but he definitely recognizes Goku, which goes to show that Goku is in no way, shape, or form going to be wrung out anytime soon, because if anything, the spoilers kind of hint in the idea that the only person right now who's going to be able to awaken Jiren from his meditation is going to be Son Goku. Now, of course, according to the spoilers, it looks like Super Saiyan Blue is no match for Kefla. This goes to show that also during the preview, we understand that Goku is going to use Kaioken. It is not confirmed as to what degree, if it's basic Kaioken, Kaioken times 10, or Kaioken times 20. However, she does back Goku up into a corner. How Goku achieves Ultra Instinct is very unknown. We don't know if Kefla actually manages to push herself into achieving Super Saiyan 2, or possibly even the long talked about Super Saiyan 3. Regardless of that, previous spoilers indicate that she is going to counter Ultra Instinct by increasing her powers as well. Now, Emish, I wanted to go on ahead and welcome you back onto the channel, as we had a previous discussion on the upcoming Dragon Ball Super spoilers, which of course is no longer available, but initially I wanted to get your thoughts quickly on Ultra Instinct Goku having to counteract Kefla, in which we already know that she backs up Super Saiyan Blue into a corner. Now, we don't know, as I just said, as to what degree Goku is going to be using Kaioken. It could be Kaioken times 10, it could be Kaioken times 20, we're not sure. But of course, according to the recent spoilers, we understand that Kefla really backs Goku into a corner, in which forces him to awaken Ultra Instinct on its own. So initially, I wanted to get your thoughts on that, if you believe that Ultra Instinct is really going to do, severe damage in hurting her, or possibly causing her to get ringed out, which I don't believe, because she's a brand new character, and I don't think that they're going to ring a character out this early, this quickly, but I do think that she is going to sustain a lot of damage, given the idea that, based on Yonko Productions spoilers, that Goku, in his Ultra Instinct form, unleashes a point-blank Kamehameha to Kefla's face, which initially could do severe damage, but also noted that Jiren is very aware as to what Goku is doing. And what's most interesting about this is he seems to be paying no mind to Kefla, but seems to have his full attention redirected to Goku. So what's your take on Ultra Instinct versus Kefla? Do you believe that initially he's going to harm her to the point where she's going to be severely damaged and open to attack, or is she going to survive? Is she going to be wrung out? What's your take on this, and what are your overall thoughts on Jiren only seemingly enough having to pay attention to Goku and not more or less on Kefla, but just keeping his eye on Ultra Instinct as a whole?
Well, as far as Jiren, I mean, it's only natural that he pays attention to Goku, because that was the person that he was primarily, required in the tournament for, right?
Right.
They recruited him mainly for Goku, and I guess you could say hit as well, but mainly for Goku. That was, everybody was targeting him in the beginning. We've had numerous discussions talking about, well, how everybody might be wanting to target Universe 7. And we've gotten a few instances to showcase that, right?
Right.
So as far as the spoiler information, like the preview does hint at Goku using his Blue King Kai Fist or Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken.
Yes.
We don't know to what degree, but I would say that based on the spoilers, it doesn't even mention Kaioken at all. So not that it has to, but I would imagine that maybe that Goku needs some kind of a trigger, right? So he's pushed into a corner. He has not. He may or may not have any reserves left. Tries to go Kaioken, and the last time we saw him go into UI was after he pushed himself to his max.
Yes.
Which is when he utilized the Kaioken times 20. So let's just theoretically say he uses the Kaioken times 20, and he's getting beat up by Kaioken times 20. Which, by the way, guys, in case you guys don't know, it's not that much of a surprise. But yes, if that is the case, and he's pushed into a corner and he has no way out, then I could imagine that being a so-called trigger of some kind to awaken UI again. I just think that the main reason they may be bringing this concept back now, it's not so much against Kefla. I don't think it's just to make Kefla look good. I mean, that's up to you guys to decide for that.
Right.
But I think ultimately what it comes down to is Goku needs to understand or try to make some sense about what UI is, because the first time he tapped into it, he didn't know what it was. He didn't know how he even got it. We said that he believed the Spirit Bomb was the trigger, but we can't rely on the Spirit Bomb each and every single time. Right? So there has to be a new way. There has to be another way to get, to tap into this power. So I think in this episode, we're going to get some more information as to how he does it. Hopefully Goku will be able to grasp the concept to some degree. So that way if we do see an alleged rematch between Goku and Jiren, that's what it's going to be for, because now he knows how to do it to some degree.
Right.
And that's going to play a major catalyst into their rematch. But as far as Kefla, I don't know, man. It's difficult to say, because now you would imagine that either A, they may not want to rush this character out of the ring so early. But let's not forget what they did to Vegito. If they can do it to Vegito, if they can do it to someone like Vegito, they can definitely do it to someone like Kefla. I think Kefla may have served her purpose into pushing Goku to getting UI again. I think that's her primary focus. I don't think it's to make her look good, but I think it's to put Goku into that corner, because right now there is nobody else in this tournament that can push Goku that far.
Right.
So whether or not she gets wrung out is a different scenario. But I think based on this concept of, we have more spoiler information telling us the episode title that a universe will be erased, I would say that if this is the case, if Goku does beat Kefla, and he is expected to, a point-blank Kamehameha, a UI Goku point-blank Kamehameha wave to the face, you could argue either A, he might beat her, or B, it might force a defusion because they run out of power. Because remember, based on spoilers, we do know that she powers up consecutively.
To counter, yeah, and she unleashes fierce attacks, and he counters everything.
Exactly. So if that is the case, I would imagine that Kefla may or may not be defeated, and then ultimately what it comes down to is I could actually see Universe 6 at this point, based on what we know now, being the next universe to get wiped out. So
with that being said, I see where you're coming at. You're trying to say that perhaps maybe she's being used as some sort of like a tool to awaken Goku and pushing him to unlock Ultra Instinct, because we already know that the long-term plan right now is for Goku to fight Jiren. That's inevitable. Jiren sees nobody in this tournament right now as a threat at all, and to an extent, you could be right. I mean, maybe Kefla has served her purpose in being in this tournament as only being used as a character to push Goku into a corner, because seemingly enough, Toppo's not going to do it, Dispo's not going to do it, the Namekians aren't going to do it, the Universe 2 fighters aren't going to do it, so we need somebody on the battlefield who is going to trigger Goku into unlocking this power once more, and as you just said, perhaps getting adjusted to the power, because ultimately enough, he is going to need it, but we understand based on 117 spoilers that he no longer has the form. It served his purpose, and of course he burns out again, and we understand that the androids are going to save Goku from inevitable, doom from Brienne and her universe, which is why I disagree with you in the concept that Universe 6 might be the next one to go. I think it's definitely going to be Universe 2, especially with the androids being there. I'm not entirely sure as to how many fighters are left from Universe 2's team, but I'm fairly certain it's not that many. We have Brienne, of course, in which everyone wants to see get wrung out, maybe perhaps by 17 or 18, but I think that going into episode 118, in which we understand that there is going to be a universe that is lingering on being erased. We don't know which, but 119 hints that it's not going to be Universe 4, because Universe 4 actually does something to affect Universe 7 in wringing out maybe one or two of their people. So we know it's not going to be Universe 4. There is no confirmation that Kefla is going to be wrung out, because if she does get wrung out, then essentially enough we can say that Universe 6 is screwed, because the Namekians fighting Gohan and Piccolo right now, they seem to be holding their own weight, but realistically speaking, they can't do anything of the sorts to increase their chances of winning either. And of course, spoilers indicate that the other universes are thinking about fusion, in which we spoke about before in the previous discussion, and the idea that I don't think at least we're going to see any other fusion. Although it would be a cool concept to see multiple characters fuse, the likelihood of the Kaioshin passing down earrings from the bleachers is highly unlikely. However, I wanted to ask you as we go into 117, what do you think is going to be the end result of Goku with his battle with Kefla? Is he going to need more energy? Is he going to be in the same state as he was when Frieza found him and being beat down and severely injured and tired? Because right after he just fought Jiren, he's going into Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and now going back into Ultra Instinct just for him to die all the way back down. So what do you think is required or needed at this point for Goku to stay, active in the tournament? Because we can only assume that he's going to be very tired. So do you see anybody else giving him energy? Do you see, perhaps the aid of Vegeta or somebody else coming to Goku's aid? Because you can only assume that once he burns out, he's going to be very tired. So what do you see in terms of that scenario coming about with Goku burning out and Kefla having to essentially enough be damaged but not confirmed to be wrung out? And what are your overall thoughts as to what Universe 4 has planned? Because they seem to put their plan in motion in attacking Universe 7. So how big do you think that, is going to be as we further our way in the Tournament of Power?
As for Universe 4, a lot of people, even on my videos, have been telling me that they feel like it's Piccolo or maybe 18, like a lower tier kind
I would
of
say
fighter,
18.
right?
I mean, but what are the chances of a high caliber character getting wrung out,
No, it's very likely.
Yeah.
Because some people are even saying, listen, let's just imagine if it was Goku because he's so tired.
Oh my goodness, man. That would shift the entire tournament.
Yeah, that would be insane. So, and guys, we know he's not going to get rung out. Like, it's safe to say it, but we're just saying hypothetically. So, so with that, I think it's up in the air, really. But we know it's going to be somebody from Universe 7. It could be a major fighter. It could be a major fight. I think at this point it could be anybody. But we do know Piccolo to be the type to actually sacrifice himself and give himself up.
Yes.
He seems to be tired. Based on the previews, we see that Gohan's actually protecting Piccolo now.
Yes.
Which is very much deserved. I think that's well overdue at this point. So now, I really don't have too much to say about Universe 4 because it could actually be anybody. As far as this whole, as far as the tournament overall and Jiren and Kefla and all this other stuff going on, and we see the whole concept of the energy, right? Helping to heal Goku. I could see this happening. Maybe like they siphon energy into him. That's probably the only logical explanation to actually get Goku, in tip-top shape again. We've seen this in movies before. They did it in the first Broly movie. To beat Broly, they did the same thing.
Yes,
they siphoned energy. They fully healed him.
Yes.
I feel like it's essentially like the Battle of Gods ritual, but without making him a Saiyan God. But instead, they're just putting their power. They're shuttling it into him, so that way he could probably fight Jiren and probably have UI for a lot longer and fight Jiren in the climax. But other than that, I just don't see any other legitimate way unless Goku manages to hide again, which at this point is like, well, we do know Jiren's gonna wake up. So
yes.
what in the blue hell is Jiren allowing Goku to just hide and run around for? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And if that is the case, who is in this tournament that's gonna stall Jiren for that long? Enough to give Goku enough time to actually heal himself up. That's why I believe that the only choice they have is to siphon their power or some kind of reserve energy into Goku to allow him, basically what Frieza did, but on a much broader scale, to allow Goku to actually be able to tap into UI once more and for it to last longer during the climax of the tournament. But other than that, I really don't know how they're gonna handle this, man. It just, right now, Jiren's awake, he's watching Goku, and then after that, it's like, okay, why is Universe 2 jumping in? Why isn't Jiren getting rid of Goku at this point in time? And if that is the case, we know Vegeta's still fighting Toppo, and if Vegeta were to fight Jiren, I'm sorry, he won't last that long. Who else is going to distract Jiren? Gohan? No. Piccolo? Absolutely not. Unless by 119, Universe 4 ends up coming into fruition. They target somebody from Universe 7, and maybe at the same time target Jiren to something. I don't know. But we know Jiren is going to be awake this weekend going into the next. So it's like, well, what is he going to do? I feel like the writers have mainly written themselves into a corner by introducing a character this strong, because now it's inevitable. There's no excuse as to why Jiren should not be, getting the job done. He one-shotted Kale, didn't ring her out. Look what happened now. You see what I'm saying? But when he fought Hit, complete one-shot out of the ring, right?
Right.
Got rid of Majikayo. Everybody Jiren has fought has been wrung out, except for Kale, because they were going to be primary players in the tournament, and Goku. So this is the second time in a row where you have an opportunity to get rid of Goku and you don't do it. I think it's questionable, but we're going to see what happens, though.
I think that, like you said, they're going to use Kefla as a ploy to push Goku into using Ultra Instinct more. That way, later on, it's going to set itself up for Goku versus Jiren one more time. It's plausible that Kefla may actually beat Goku down in establishing his defeat and possibly moving on to other people. And I understand in the community, people are upset about where's Topo Vegeta, what's going on with Frieza, why is Jiren just sitting there. I think it's possible that, you know, acknowledging how strong Kefla is, it is possible that we may actually end up seeing Kefla versus Jiren, in which case, as I said before, Jiren stomps, because I don't feel, in my opinion, that Kefla is remotely close to that. However, that all varies on episode 116 to see what happens with her in Ultra Instinct, because although I feel Ultra Instinct would be too much for her, it would not surprise me if she's able to momentarily adapt to him with that. So going into Universe 2 and the universe that's going to be destroyed, what's your take on that? Which universe do you think it's going to be? And with 17 and 18 finally having some screen time, what do you think they're going to do? And do you think they're going to finally bring out Ribrianne?
All right, so if I could just touch upon on something you just said about Kefla and the girls and Jiren and all this other stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
First, okay, so in 116 we see that 117 actually is when Goku runs out of steam and then Ribrianne tries to target him.
Yes.
Nowhere is it mentioned what happens to Kefla.
Exactly.
Right? It doesn't. It's not a mention of a diffusion. It's nothing. Nothing is mentioned. It's just like, okay, we're doing something else now, but it still involves Goku. So what happens now? Does Goku run out of steam going towards the end of 116, and then he's defeated? Kefla, you know, basically just says, "Oh, you're done," whatever, and Goku says, "Okay," and Kefla doesn't really want to knock off Goku, maybe to some degree. I don't know. It's like we said, it varies depending on what happens, and also, if that is the case, for her to just move on to Jiren, I can see means to forcefully push Kefla out of the ring now, because of her cockiness to some degree. The fact that she was able to fight Goku, right, who also fought Jiren,
and
then walk away
enough,
feeling confident, exactly, going into to fight Jiren potentially or something like that, and then maybe going towards Jiren, they defuse. That would just be so embarrassing, and it
remember
would not
Gotenks
be surprising.
when he fought Boo, they defused.
Exactly. It would not be surprising considering what happened with Gotenks and considering what happened with Vegito. As soon as he was about to quote unquote end it, right?
And it was Zamasu,
he defused, exactly. So I could see them revisiting that concept, and in that regard, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think that's a bad idea. It makes sense. It's okay. Now, as far as Kefla fighting UI Goku, that's interesting, man. I don't know. I don't think there's an excuse for someone to adapt to UI. It's either
not at
know
all,
about
bro.
it
It's stated right here, the state in which even the gods cannot obtain easily.
Exactly, but then again, they've made it clear that even mortals can actually surpass the gods. It's interesting. But to touch upon something though, is that Jiren, the fan base is divided on whether or not they believe Jiren does have access to UI or is aware of it or does utilize some degree of it, right? Similarly to how we saw Beerus in the manga utilize some degree of it, the training of it, the technique of that, or whatever it is, right? So if that is the case, if someone like Jiren, I give him credit because people are criticizing Jiren for not having a backstory, and look how quickly they're turning and jumping on Kefla now by saying she has no backstory, there's nothing to her, there's nothing going on, he's just a powerhouse character. How is UI Goku still not able to put a dent into Jiren? How is Jiren still standing if he doesn't even have UI himself? It wasn't even stated. You see what I'm saying? So the idea is that the fan base is quick to just say no to everything and still deny the idea that this is by far the best content in the Tournament of Power thus far. Because I remember the beginning of the tournament, people were, even me, I was one of them, I was raging as to why Goku was acting like a fucking moron, why he's trolling, why he's doing this, what's going on with Vegeta. We didn't see Vegeta for X amounts of episodes.
And we still aren't going to see 17, him, 18. Him or Gohan.
Right, and whereas Gohan, what the fuck is going on with Piccolo? Why is he so fodder? Why did Tien get wrung out by some dude with long hair and underwear? Why did he do the Naruto run in a straight line towards a sniper?
Why did Krillin throw his stinky shoe at a rabbit? You see what I'm saying?
Right, so there's a lot of questionable moments, and with that, we're coming into these past few episodes, which have been absolutely amazing, despite whether or not you agree with the concepts being introduced. This is by far the best fucking content that we have been getting for quite some time. We've been asking for Goku to we've been asking for Dragon Ball Z Goku, and we're getting it. People are upset about that. You know why? Because now they're just basically looking for reasons to dismiss Kefla, right? Which I understand, don't get me wrong. It's okay to dismiss Kefla, but you can't dismiss the actual content. UI Goku is being reintroduced, in my opinion, Kefla's pushing him that far, not because she's UI level, but because they're using her as a catalyst for Goku to understand what this is. So that way, in his official rematch with Jiren, okay, he will understand to some degree maybe how to tap back into it. Because earlier it's mentioned, it's hinted, will Goku be able to tap into this power again? Will he learn how to tap into this power again? Leafla hinted it herself. Listen, after seeing Goku and Jiren fight, it's made me certain that I can become much, much stronger. They hinted it back then as well. So when people say there was no warning, there was nothing, they just shoved it down our throats. No, they've hinted it via dialogue, and sometimes that's all it takes. It's preference based. It's really preference based. Whether it depends what you want. Now, to jump onto the 17-18 concept and the androids, all this other stuff, I personally think it's gonna be Universe 3 going first.
Universe 3?
I feel like. Because we haven't seen 17-18 in quite some time, they might want to drag that fight on a little bit, the same way they're dragging on the Vegeta versus Topo fight.
I see.
They might make it a side fight. I could see Universe 3 going only because Universe 2, even though we're brands of troll, we still not have seen that real Do fighter from Universe 2.
Yeah, right.
He could still be he can make his debut. And he could be the last hope for Universe 2.
Then again, remember Nigirishi? He was there and he was supposed to be like this top tier fighter, and he got rung out by Kaba in one kick.
Well,
so
I just imagine that because they're hiding him specifically, it's intentional. I don't think it's because they just haven't found a place to put him in. I just think it's intentional right now because I haven't seen him in any episode throw a punch yet. So I feel like it could be something that they're saving to drag on the 17 versus 18 concept. The reason I say Universe 3 is because whether or not we see them merging together will also play catalyst to that. We still have not seen Pepperoni, whatever his name is. So I think Universe 3 has more in line with them to actually get wrung out, especially if they start talking about merging together in Fusion. Universe 3, if the Kaoshin flicks his glasses and says, Fusion, we don't have to do that. My guys can merge together anyway. They end up merging, fighting somebody else, whoever, I don't know who's going to be, and then maybe they get wrung out. Pepperoni's left. He's the only guy left. Something happens to him by somebody else. I don't know. But it does make sense for Universe 2 to be next in line because it's kind of hinted. Like, episode 117 is an episode about Universe 2.
Universe 2, and then the erasure. Because we normally got that with Universe 10, stuff like that. So, but then again, I feel as if that concept of Universe 3 could be dragged on after Universe 2 gets erased, because only then could we see a full-fledged fight between the robots and the androids, which would be great. And thus, 17's a very strong fighter, and thus Universe 3 having to result in using the Megazord and stuff to fight off 17, even though it's a wonky concept.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
No, and plus, I'm very interested to see which universe it's going to be. I think it's going to be Universe 2. I highly doubt it's going to be Universe 6, because we have more content to drag out with Gohan, Piccolo, and the Namekians. We have more content with Kefla, because she's going to be, I'm telling you right now, she's going to be a key component in just bringing more uniqueness to the tournament, as opposed to being a cocky fighter, as to being looked at as like the female Vegito, because that's exactly what she looks like to me. I mean, because they're giving her that same treatment. Remembering back when Vegito first was introduced, when he fought Buu, very arrogant, very cocky, fought him in base form, beat him up, transformed. Same thing with Zamasu, except only this time he went blue from the start, beat him up. I think that ultimately, I highly disagree with UI Goku having to have any sort of competition with Kefla. I think that he should one-shot her, but with this power-up, it's almost as if like they want to give a reason for the fans to say, okay, she's going to be the reason why Goku pushes himself in potentially, harnessing Ultra Instinct a bit longer, and thus, having ourselves an indefinite second rematch with Jiren. And by the end of it, looking at it now, I honest to God don't see how Goku's going to survive Jiren if he's this tired already.
Yeah, because now you can say he's tired, guys.
No, because listen, he's fighting a fusion. He's fighting, bro, he's going through hell.
Yeah, now you guys can say he's tired. Now I'll believe you a little
Once he steps up to Jiren, he's going to be like, okay. Like, and Jiren is cool, calm, collected. Notice how nobody is attacking him. They're letting him sit there. And as much as people want to say Vegeta's got his own thing with Topo, and what really disappoints me, I don't want to rule this out, but we are gonna get, I think, a Vegeta versus Topo-esque episode in the future, possibly December, in which I am hoping for. But as of right now, obviously, with this new introduction of the fusion, they have to focus on that, because marketing standpoint wise, giving Goku a reason to go UI again. But any final thoughts before we go here and pertains to the spoilers, and any final thoughts, because it's weird to me how she pushes Blue to the boundary where he uses Kaioken, but then ultimately using UI. I think that if they're gonna do it like that, UI Goku probably stomps until he just burns out. So any final thoughts before we go here?
No, that's pretty much it. Just
that's all she wrote, right?
Guys, I mean, ultimately we'll know, we can make a better, educated guess as to what happens based on the end of 115, going into the previews of 116, and then possibly going into the actual episode. I think after 116, things are going to start to die down a little bit in terms of the hype, in terms of like actual content. Despite 17 being exciting to see, a lot of people want to see 17.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, anything with Universe 2 is just always a disaster. In terms of like how
she's gonna get wrung out. I'm telling you, like, tis the season.
Yeah.
Like, once December comes around, that's gonna be a wonderful Christmas gift, I think, at least, just to have her get wrung out. But post your comments down below, guys. What are your thoughts on Kefla versus Goku in blue form, in Kaioken form, in Ultra Instinct form, which I awoke to those spoilers and I was just like, am I reading this right? At first I thought it was fake until I read more into it and I was like, wow. But post your comments down below on as to what this power-up is going to be. And essentially enough, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, guys. Turn on notifications because YouTube can always tend to be a bit wonky with subscription boxes. If you guys want to be up to date with videos, if you guys enjoyed it, if you guys cannot wait for these episodes to air, smash that like button, guys. Emish's channel will be located down in the description box, guys. Make sure you guys head over there and check him out, guys. Emish, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.